In the landscape of the NBA Retro League, the role of offseason draft picks is at once fundamental and fraught with nuance. The NBA Retro League uses a salary cap and is like a more complex keeper league. The actual dynamics of the draft are shaped by the realities of cap space, contract pressures, and the challenging art of roster management. Particularly beyond the first round, the value and purpose of draft picks become a complex chess game in which general managers, GMs, must weigh present constraints against long-term possibilities. The reality of off-season draft picks. The annual draft in the NBA Retro League is more like a free agent signing period. Traditionally, first-round picks are the most coveted, carrying the expectation of uncovering future stars or reliable contributors. By the second round, however, the shine begins to fade. Interest remains, but the likelihood of finding a franchise-altering player diminishes. By the time the third round arrives, most teams find themselves confronting a stark reality. Either the available talent has thinned to potential third-string contributors, or financial constraints have rendered further selections impractical. The NBA Retro League is expanding by 2 teams this season, which will further dilute the free agent pool, although the cap always ensures there will be some players of note on the waiver wire. Getting back to draft picks, the gap between first and third rounders can be substantial. More critically, the ever-present salary cap exerts a powerful influence on how teams approach their draft boards. Teams already facing tight cap situations may have little room to sign additional players, even if they have the rights to them. These factors combine to sap later picks of their potential impact, shifting the league's focus toward the complex interplay of asset management, flexibility, and the allure of future picks. Teams in the NBA Retro League are permitted to trade their first 3 draft selections each season, up to 3 seasons into the future. This rule injects a fascinating layer of strategy into the proceedings. Picks become currency, not simply for securing new talent, but for navigating the difficult waters of team building under a salary cap. The cap itself is often the driving force behind many trades involving draft picks. When a star player's contract comes due and the number attached is larger than the GM anticipated, the team is placed in a difficult situation. In many cases, the cap space simply isn't there to retain the player or to bring in comparable talent via trade. Other teams, wary of their own cap limitations, may be unwilling to send back players of similar salary, leading to a situation where draft picks, especially those from the early rounds, are the only viable compensation. This creates a secondary market where picks are not just about who might be available in the coming draft, but about providing a flexible solution to immediate financial dilemmas. A GM who must move a player purely for cap reasons may not be able to extract fair value, but can at least secure future assets in the form of draft picks. These picks, particularly in the first or second round, retain at least a promise of value, either due to the potential of the players selected or their utility as ongoing trade chips. Cap space is an asset. Cap space is a hidden currency of the NBA Retro League. Teams with an abundance of room under the cap are uniquely positioned to act as brokers in the annual draft. They can afford to absorb contracts or sign multiple picks, making their later round draft selections more meaningful. In contrast, teams pressed against the cap wall may barely be able to sign even 1 or 2 off-season additions, rendering their own second and third rounders almost valueless, except as potential assets for future trades. For teams flush with cap space, draft picks can be a way to stockpile young, inexpensive talent and build a foundation for sustained success. These teams can afford to take flyers on players in the later rounds, hoping to unearth a hidden gem or a valuable role player. On the opposite end, teams with little flexibility often view their draft picks as little more than bargaining chips, seeking to leverage them into cap relief or as sweeteners in larger deals. Within this framework, teams must learn to become adept at shuffling draft picks, especially those from the first 2 rounds. It is not uncommon for a team to trade a current second rounder for a future pick, or to combine several later picks in an attempt to move up the draft board. This constant movement is less about a single draft class and more about the ongoing process of asset management. When a player's contract balloons or a team faces an unexpected cap crunch, the ability to trade away a star for draft picks becomes essential. While it may be disappointing to lose a talented player, the influx of draft assets gives the team a chance to reset, acquire cost control talent, or even flip those picks down the line for more suitable pieces. In this sense, the Retro League's permissive trading rules, allowing moving of picks up to 3 years out, encourage a constant cycle of negotiation and creativity.